I know that human being and fish can coexist peacefully.
Hello and welcome to the Spoilt Milk Movie Podcast. Here at Spoilt Milk, we discuss, dissect, and destroy movies, especially guilty pleasures. Then we decide if it's truly spoilt milk or if it's ascended into a fine, luxurious cheese. So without further ado, let's go.
Warning, this podcast is full of spoilers for the title feature and there's bad language from the start. If you've never seen the film or you're offended by bad language, you have been warned.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Spoilt Milk Movie Podcast, where today I, as always, am Chris Hammond and I'm joined by just the Hobo. How are you, Hobo?
Hello. Alone. No Catty. No Laura.
Where
no
are they?
Layla. No Richie. No friends.
No one's
no
here.
guest speakers. I think we're all dead.
We've got Arnold, your dog. What do you think of X-Men? Okay.
No. Has
So-
no words.
Yeah, no words. No words for X-Men Apocalypse. So we are going to be discussing X-Men Apocalypse shortly, due to the new release of is it Dark Phoenix, this one?
Yes,
called?
this one is Dark Phoenix.
And that's the fourth in this new iteration.
Yes, because there's first stand,
First class.
first class.
And then second class, then signed for. So it was Days of Future Past, wasn't it,
Yeah.
after that?
And then what was...
Apocalypse, this one.
Oh, so this is the third.
Yeah, because
Oh, I
we
thought
went
you
to
said four.
see... Oh, yeah, and then Dark Phoenix.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Because we went to see a back-to-back, didn't we?
Yeah, we saw Days of Future Past and
First
Apocalypse.
class.
Oh.
It was all three.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Mm.
I forgot about that. Oh, man, that was a...
Long time in the cinema.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. In hindsight, maybe other decisions would have been made.
Yeah.
So yeah, I forgot. Because we was doing our top three is... how did you put this again?
So the top three third films in a franchise.
That is a mouthful,
Yeah.
and it's going to be hard to put on the Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah.
Top three third films in a franchise.
Yeah. And there's only two of us.
Yes.
So three doesn't divide up very well. So we're going to pick two, and then we'll see if we can come up with, we can come to a compromise over one. So if we have this is our absolute must go in, then another one that we're like, yeah, and then we'll discuss. And then if we can't, we'll just do five. Five in the top three.
Wait, five? We'll choose two each.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if we can't make our mind up on one to drop, we'll make up our mind on one to add. Because why not?
That makes more sense.
Yeah, we'll make sure the division never works.
Let's hope we're never in some sort of legal
Maths
situation. Or
competition.
we can't divide this, so we're just going to add one. We can't split this.
I think that's how things should work.
You wouldn't be a very good. Is it King Solomon? Just who said two mothers were arguing over a baby.
Yeah.
It's cut it in two.
Yeah, he'd just be like, any other babies knocking around,
Yeah,
add
just
that one
throw
in.
in a baby, and then because that'll just compound the issue of another mum. Going,
Yeah.
I want another baby, and then we're like, okay, don't worry, I got to fix this. Get me two more babies.
And it keeps going, and that's how populations rise and double and double and double.
Just
Solomon.
Solomon away babies.
So, do you want to go first?
Yes.
You do, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
this
then.
is one of the times where, because this is quite sprung on me.
Yeah.
I've not had much time to prepare. But the first one that came to my head was actually one I was talking about recently.
Oh.
So, as you mentioned, Cham, you've been to see the new Aladdin film.
What? Wait, you're not, are you?
Aladdin, King of Thieves.
You go for...
That is a solid third movie.
Really?
Yeah.
I think we need to do that and bring back Liam Regan.
Yeah.
Because did he like the third
he
or
liked
the
the second one.
Oh, maybe
which
we could
is
do
the
both.
worst of the trilogy.
Right, okay.
All I remember from the second one is it's follows on from the first one where Jafar is a genie because that's what his last wish on.
Yeah.
And someone opens him up and then, he obviously tries to get Princess
They
Jasmine back.
open him up.
Yeah, Cadaver?
Yeah.
Cadaver style. Godiva style. No, they like open up his lamp.
Yeah.
And we're like, hey, there's a red old genie in here. But that's all I remember from it. And then King of Thieves picks up where Aladdin and Jasmine are finally going to get married. And then Aladdin's father's got a dark past.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
What?
But I know that Robin Williams came back for it.
Yeah, which is why it's better than the second one.
Yeah, because that's Dan Castor.
Yeah.
What is his name? Homer, basically.
Yeah, the guy just... I can't remember how to pronounce it either.
So all of the films out there that have 3 or more in, this is your first pick.
I'm not good under pressure. I'm not good at thinking of the amount of films I've seen.
Yeah.
I'm already bad at remembering them.
Right.
Add that on top, I have to filter it down to trilogies.
No, not just trilogies. There could be it could be Friday the 13th 3.
Yeah.
Not that that's better.
But yeah, and I just went for one that I'd said recently that was a solid third film. So I thought, why not back it up? Put it on a podcast. So if anyone thought, you're just saying that at the time, no. Quote me on this in 20 years.
Well, the new Aladdin film wasn't spectacular. It was fine, a bit of fun. But as I was saying to the Hobo just before we started recording, it's further cemented my idea that Will Smith is not funny. He's just fun.
And as the Hobo said in his third person response, he's full of shit.
He's not funny. And he even did like a video recently where he went and did stand-up for the first time ever. And he wasn't funny. And I'm like, he's probably loads of fun to be around. And he'll go, haha, woohoo, and stuff like that. But I don't think he's funny at all. Like, if you think about films that he's been in where you're laughing at him, it's kind of comic relief, or he's got like all right comic timing, but he's not funny. He's not a funny man.
Men in Black.
Yeah.
He's funny in that.
Yeah, but if you think about a lot of it, it's physical jokes, like when he drags the table. That's funny, or when he hits that bouncy ball around and he's just like going, oh. It's quite funny. Anyway, so you're going for King of Thieves, is it?
Aladdin, King of Thieves. Aladdin 3, King of Thieves. And I'm up for doing number 2 with Liam.
Yeah, I think we should do that.
So what's your first one of potentially 5?
I found it hard to narrow this down. I was like, what about this? I'm going to go for Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Nice.
I really like it. And I think it's the second best. I don't think that's an unpopular opinion.
No.
I'd say that it's much better than anything that came after it, and it is better than 2.
I like both 2 and 4. I really like Die Hard 2 and 4. I mean, I think a lot of 2 is nostalgia because I think when I watched it, it kind of just triggered a lot of things. I still remember like the plane taking off in the snow type thing at the end. And
I like the bit where they alter the landing thing so it thinks it's way higher than what it is. That's a good trick.
I think...
I forgot there's a number 5. Which one's number 5?
The one in Russia.
I have not seen it. I've given up.
It's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's got a
Jai Courtney, is it?
I was going to say a really forgettable guy in it as his son, and it's really bad. Considering in 3, they set up his daughter, that would have been much better.
And the next one they're doing is going to be like a prequel, isn't it?
That's what I've heard, but I don't know too much about it. I think even in 5, they weirdly end up going to Chernobyl.
Oh, right. Okay, then.
I think. Or they go, because it's in Russia, they'll go somewhere weird like that, like an abandoned area. But yeah, I mean, watch it just to see how
it goes.
Yeah.
No, I just don't think I will.
Yeah.
I'm not bothered.
Yeah.
But I think the third one, it tails off a bit at the end. But I think that's just due to how fast-paced it is at the start. Starts with the music, I'm in the city, and then the explosion, and then it's just relentless, like task after task after task. His chemistry with Samuel L. Jackson is ridiculous good. Like, they're so good together.
Yeah.
And it's just a really solid action film from a time when action films were I feel like at quite a peak, like time where like The Rock and
is that the same sort of?
kind of that like mid 90s, just before it tipped over into like things like Face Off.
Face Off is great,
and Mission Impossible 2, and that kind of like when John Woo started coming in, but then people were like, this is good, and then it went too far.
Yeah.
So that's my first.
That's a good
Have
one.
you got a second?
Well, I mean, I often talk about my favourite trilogies as being both Star Wars and Back to the Future.
Yeah. I thought you'd have gone for one of those.
Yeah, well, I mean, I always try and rule those out, so I don't, because otherwise that would cover so many films. Like, I'd just be talking about them all the time. But there's a trilogy I don't often talk about, which is very much up there with those two, and that would be. Can you have a guess?
You're going to tell me that you love Matrix Revolutions or something?
No, but I do like Matrix Revolutions. I like the whole Matrix trilogy.
Nobody likes Matrix Revolutions. Is that even the third one?
Yeah, Revolutions. It's Reloaded. And then,
Reloaded,
Don't get me wrong, it does get progressively worse, but not worse as in unwatchable. Just less. It feels like less of a solid story. It's more of just a continuation. Like I think it's a solid, like as a TV series, a limited series type deal. But no, it's going to be Indiana Jones.
Do you know what? I can't remember the third Indiana Jones, and I know that's bad.
With Sean Connery,
yeah,
and the grey one.
Do you know? I couldn't even guarantee you.
Poorly.
I can't even guarantee that I've seen it.
You should watch it.
Yeah,
it's
I should.
Great.
Yeah.
You know what blew my mind? There's a bit in it where like someone's been shot because they got a Holy Grail. It's like it's a healing thing, and they pour it on, and the bullet wound like the water fizzes up, and then the bullet wound's gone. And, like that blew my mind when I first saw that.
Yeah, so I don't think I've seen it. Like I've seen bits of it. My brother used to really like it, and I think I always thought it was the boring one with the old man when I was a kid.
Oh, what?
And I've just never gone back, and I don't know why.
We should do
I've got no reason.
Indiana Jones trilogy.
Yeah?
Like, we should do all of them. Just, I'd like to rethink how I'd rank them. Because I think a lot of the trilogies I like 1 and 3 better than I like 2.
Do you mean the quadrilogy?
Quadrilogy. Oh, yeah.
Don't forget Crystal Skulls.
I didn't even, purposely do that. I just genuinely forgot about Crystal Skulls.
Yeah.
And Mutt.
Yeah. So would you say, thinking about it now without revisiting, where would you rank Last Crusade?
Yeah, I'd
Best,
probably
second, third.
It's again, a lot of it is nostalgia, so I rank it pretty highly. I think I remember it more than the first one, definitely more than the second one. But I think still. It's very close, but I'd still choose 1. And I think revisiting 1, I'd be like, yeah, no, this is clearly better. It's just one of those things where it will be generally the first one is a much tighter story. Like everything there is purposeful. And that's why a lot of the franchise, the universe films have failed so far, is just because they're so worried about setting up a future franchise. It's not a tight film on its own. And that's all everything in its place purposeful in a film just gets me every time.
Nice. And yeah, on the back of that, I might rewatch it this week, one morning. Right, we've been rattling on for quite a while. I'm going to go for there was a few that I was going to go for. There's 2 that are from the same series of films, if you will. Same umbrella of films.
Is it the X-Men?
No.
It's not Last Stand.
Yeah, Last Stand, yeah. And even now I'm I don't know which to go for. There's one that I think I prefer this one as a film, but I'm gonna go for the other one because of what it did. I'm gonna go for Thor Ragnarok.
Nice.
And I was really I don't know whether to go for Civil War because I do prefer Civil War as a film, but I think Thor Ragnarok, what it did for the character of Thor and the way we've gone on to have this new version of Thor that's really funny and self-effacing, I think that's done wonders for that character. And I think it's down to Thor Ragnarok why Hemsworth looks like he's staying on and is probably going to be doing some kind of Asgardians of the Galaxy because they just got Hemsworth Like Taika Waititi was just like, this guy's fucking hilarious and we're going to milk him for everything. And in a time when I can't remember the last good comedy like that I've seen at the cinema, where I've gone to the cinema and like sat and laughed all the way through. This is the only one I can think of in the last 5 years. Maybe since like the kind of Seth Rogen and Franco and all that lot stopped making films as frequently.
Yeah.
So I quite liked This Is the End and The Interview, but nothing. I can't think of anything really. I mean, Game Night was fine.
I feel like a lot of comedies I don't watch too much in the cinema. Generally, there's not. I can't think of any films that have really made me wet myself laughing. And I mean, this was really funny. And I mean, I love the direction it's gone in with 4, and I completely get that. Without that, we probably wouldn't have the same arc we do get in Infinity War and Endgame. But a part of me does still feel a bit bitter that we didn't get the full trilogy of Kenneth Branagh's 4.
Yeah,
I loved, and I thought the world that he built and that whole world was amazing. It was an entire universe in itself. I wanted to know more about that, and I love the Shakespearean aspect of it.
Yeah,
I think there's no reason they both can't exist. In this, like I just wanted to at least have a bit more of that before we moved on. But yeah, I agree. Like Thor Ragnarok is good. It's a good turn for the character as well.
So what are we going to do? Are we going to cut one out, or are we going to add one in and have a top 5?
Try and add one, seeing as that makes less sense than try and cut one out. So, like, is there something we can...
Well, why don't we add one each and have a top 6? It's somehow the maths works out that because there's only 2 of us and 6 divided by 2 is 3, that... but we won't go into the detail because our top 3 is going on for quite some time. But...
Is this just because you don't want to talk about Apocalypse? You're like, hey, let's just add another one.
Let's just add top 10.
I don't know. I think I'll go with... Revolutions?
Matrix Revolutions, right?
Yeah, just because you mentioned it, and I was like, yeah, I like that film. I like it, what it does.
And I'll go for Civil War. So my top 3 were Ragnarok, Civil War, and Die Hard with a Vengeance. Yours were?
Aladdin, King of Thieves.
Indiana Jones. And Matrix.
And The Last Crusade. And Matrix Revolutions, Jesus.
And we've got to do a shout out for Laura because she would want Prisoner of Azkaban in there. And
she loves
most people's favourite Harry Potter.
And I'm sure she'd put in whatever the third Fantastic Beast is.
Whatever that'll come out.
And she'd probably put
Ninja Turtles 3, Turtles in Time.
No, she really likes Lord of the Rings.
Return of the King, that's a good one.
So I don't know which one she probably would have chosen both of those.
Right, there we go then. And Catty, it'd be some kind of like My Mum Ate My Goblin's Dick 3 or something weird.
It would be Leprechaun 3.
Yeah, it would, yeah.
It would be...
Is there a Pet Sematary 3?
There's probably...
Ghoulies 3, probably. But anyway, we'll be back shortly to talk about X-Men Apocalypse.
Top 3 in films. Top 3 in films. We will discuss our top 3 in films. Who are the all-time greats? Who are the upcoming noobs? What are the greatest scenes? Who's got the silkiest pubes? Top 3 in films. Top 3 in films. We will discuss our top 3 in films.
Hello and welcome back to the Spoilt Milk Movie Podcast, where today we're talking about X-Men Apocalypse, the third X-Men film, the second go at a third X-Men film.
And the second go at trying to, I say trying to do the Phoenix Saga, but then they're doing the Phoenix Saga in the next film. So
yeah.
It's very confusing.
So Bryan Singer's back.
Yeah.
After he went, didn't he? He didn't. Brett Ratner did The Last Stand.
Yeah, because at that time Bryan Singer was doing
Superman
Returns, yeah. And then it was, who was it? Matthew Vaughn did
First Class.
Who did Days of Future Past?
Bryan Singer came back. Okay. So he came back for number 2. So he's done X-Men 2 twice. I wonder how many other directors can say they've done. I guess
I've just remembered, I should have known. Bryan Singer came on to do Last Stand because Matthew Vaughn, wanted to do Last Stand and wrote the at least the first draft of that
Last
script.
Stand?
Yeah, he wanted. Oh, sorry, Days of Future Past.
Oh, right. Okay.
Sorry. Matthew Vaughn wanted to do Days of Future Past. He wanted to do that third. He wanted to switch these two films around. So Apocalypse would have been the second one, and then so you're more invested in these new, younger versions of characters. And then when he did Days of Future Past and brought back the old cast, it'd have more impact.
Yeah, that makes more sense, I guess. But
and because Fox or whoever were like, nah, this one seems good because we've got star power. We want to do that. It was like, yeah, here's the script, but I'm not filming it.
Oh, really?
And
that's
so
what he did?
Back to, yeah. So we could have had this second trilogy as good as First Class was, and in a better order.
So give me a quick kind of like, a very quick run through of your opinion of the X-Men films so far. Do a little kind of like Spoilt Milk this. So X-Men 1?
Luxurious cheese.
Cheese, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so too. 2?
It's very luxurious cheese.
Right. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, barely. 3?
I want to say cheese.
Yeah,
like,
me too.
It's on the edge of cheese, but it's definitely not Spoilt Milk. Like, I can watch it.
First Class?
Oh, luxurious cheese. No.
Days of Future
Probably
Past?
the best of the franchise. Days of Future Past, cheese, yeah.
Yeah. So would you say that you think, X2 first and then First Class? Or First Class is your favourite?
I'd say they're both on level, but probably First Class before X2. As much as I love what X2 did, I think First Class did a lot of things. So it was like, again, it was more of a complete story overall. So what about you? What's the best in the franchise?
I think Days of Future Past is the best, then First Class, and then the original trilogy I'm not massively bothered about. The cheese, because they're not Spoilt Milk, they're not bad films, but I'm not bothered about the X-Men films just in general.
Yeah.
I think I'm really excited to see what will happen when they move to Marvel now the contracts have moved over. Because I used to love the cartoon, the Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they make like jokes in the film about what we're going to do, wear yellow spandex, but I'm kind of hoping they do go a bit more. I like the way that they've made Thanos this fully CG visual effects character, but it looks photorealistic. Yeah. I'd like to see them do something, either enhance someone and have Wolverine as being like a little shorter, stocky guy, and Beast actually be a beast, not someone in some like weird like sideburns. So we went to see this, didn't we, together? Oh, what were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say like Colossus. Colossus is done really well in both films, I think. Like the way they CG the metal over it in number 2, and they use him a bit in number 3, Last Stand, was really good. And in the Deadpool films, he's just an all CG character, and it works well. But yeah, sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, well, I was just going to go on to it then, onto the story. So we've had these Bryan Singer's back. I must say, just on a side note, I do always like it when this 20th Century Fox fades out and the X is still showing. That's always a nice touch. But we open up in Egypt with Moira McTaggart, the character everyone missed in the second one and couldn't wait for her to come back. You're even looking like, who?
No, I know who she is, but when I was watching it, I was like I remember from First Class, I couldn't remember if she was in Days of Future Past.
No.
At least she wasn't.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is going to be how much later?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
So am I wrong or am I right that these are all supposed to be a 10-year gap?
Yeah.
Like, there's some flashback scenes to First Class, and I must admit, I was like, God, McAvoy looks quite young there. He looks quite fresh-faced. But not... Unless they're like, the first one took place in 1969, the middle one 1975, and the third one in 81, and there's like a 12-year I'm like, okay, you can barely get past that. But if they're like 65, 75, 85, I'm like, fuck off.
Done anything except change the haircut of these people. Like, and they tried to pass it off as well. As there's a bit where Xavier just says, "Oh, she's barely aged a day." First Class happens around the Cuban Missile Crisis, which I just double checked the date, 1962. And then this is set in the 80s.
Right. So even if it was 82, no, you're not getting away with that.
No, it's so egregious, and they just don't give a shit.
No.
That's the thing about this franchise. It's a franchise where they just didn't give enough of a shit.
And it's such a shame because it's such a good property and you can use it in so many good ways to kind of tell other stories through things like mutant segregation or even like how your body changes as you go through life, like they do with Spider-Man. So you could tell some really poignant stories about being outsiders, about growth, about being ostracized. And yet they kind of try to do that. But again, they just don't, they're too flippant with big decisions.
This is why I think McVaughn wanted to set First Class back when he did. So he could go through that and actually do what X-Men was supposed to do, is like say, civil rights and stuff like that. He was going to jump ahead in time, but he was going to tackle these issues as when the comics were written. So he didn't have to try and redo the comic book storylines to modern times, which he can still do, and it does work. I mean, Marvel have been proving that. But I think he really wanted to tackle it as and when, because it's still a relevant issue now. So why not just go back in that time? And these just haven't. I mean, with any film, there's certain like either coincidence or suspension of disbelief that is part of the property that you're meant to do, and people accept that. But at a certain point, if either there's too many of them or there's no care about them, then like people just lose interest. How they can try and make you think one thing is, they put so much effort into making one thing is real and then put zero effort into making other things as real. I always talk about it. It needs to be consistent. There needs to be some rules with this world so we know what the consistent rules are.
Well, like you said, they set it at the Cuban Missile Crisis, so a factual real-life event.
Yeah.
So you're clearly setting this in a real world and a timeline that we're all familiar with. And then
your suspension of disbelief there is mutants exist and they actually maybe had a part to it that the world is covering up somewhere. Fair enough, that's fine. But
even if they were like, we're going to break the rule of the comics, I'm guessing this is not in the comics, and threw in some kind of line about mutants aging at a different level, but then Moira is the same. Like, she comes back in this one and hasn't aged. Well, she's aged like 3 years or whatever, and is supposed to be 20 years older.
Yeah.
And then, so is the new one going to be in the 90s? Or are they just giving up on that at this point?
I don't know. What is it called again, the new one?
Dark Phoenix.
Dark Phoenix, that's it. It's in space.
Yeah. But, I mean, the 80s is quite hot at the moment and has been for a while with like Stranger Things and the whole nostalgia. So they might just keep it there. But then I'm like, well, you've gone this far now. Why stop?
Yeah.
Fucking set it in the 90s. It makes no sense. So we start with...
we got off track now, haven't we?
We start in Egypt with a pyramid, 3,600 BCE. I didn't know that BCE stood for Before Common Era, because I've always known like BC is before Christ. Yeah.
Well, no, it is like in things like, I don't know, certain Bible texts, certain things, it was before Christ, and like something else for... It's like Latin for before Christ and after Christ.
Anno Domini.
Yeah. But obviously then, not everyone's religious, so they adopted BCE as before Common Era and after. Like it's meant to be so you don't have to acknowledge the existence of Christ in order to refer to certain things in the timeline. From what I understand anyway. It's been a while since I've looked at that. But I thought this opening scene was pretty solid.
Yeah.
Far-fetched in regards to the... I mean, what, the sun is this pyramid is very technological advanced. It's got this sun generating the power, but in regards to the action, like this collapsing pyramid and these really powerful mutants trapped inside, and like one person crushes a person, and one rips his skin off.
Yeah, that was good.
Like fucking cool as hell. I was all in it. Like there's little bits where I was like, but I was happy to ignore them.
But why did they need the big gold pyramid? I'm like, you've got the supposedly most powerful mutant ever at that point, and probably even now. Just be like, we can do or having like almost like, maybe that's too close to Kitty Pryde in the next one, but have someone whose power is to transfer their consciousness, or just be like, this is something I can do.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they said it later on that he had the power to, take over other people's bodies, and if he took over the bodies of a mutant, then he'd get their powers as well.
So we have the big Egyptian pyramid collapse. He transfers into a younger body, and then it all collapses, and he stays down there for 5,000 years. I take it he's supposed to have been like knocked out for 5,000 years.
It seemed like what was suggested, because when he woke up, it's when the sun hit the pyramid again. So he needed that pyramid to wake him up. Right. So it started off the process, and it feels like it needs to end the process. Right. For whatever reason. But yeah, because he was going into the body of someone who healed, like the fact that he's crushed by stone, and he was mostly safe from that, I feel isn't a big point, because he just heals, sort of thing.
Right, okay then. So this is our villain. This is our bad guy for the film, Old Blue Head. It doesn't look very good, does it?
No.
I don't know much about the comics, but I've Googled what he's supposed to look like, and
he's a very unique looking villain. He's a lot like Thanos in that way, where he's got a very unique, powerful style to him. The way he was drawn was very intimidating. And then you just get an old, it looks like a more elderly version of Ivan Ooze.
Of who?
Ivan Ooze from the Power Rangers movie.
I don't like Power Rangers. I never watched it, really.
You never watched a Power Rangers
We've
movie?
had this before. I think I was just like, I think I did go and see the movie, actually, but it made no impact on me. I think I saw it at Saturday Kids Club when I was about 14.
He's Ivan Ooze aged to about 90.
Right.
And Ivan Ooze already looked like an old man, but this is just like, his face has got a bit sadder. He Apocalypse is just a sad tyrant. He's like, come with me, child.
Well, he had a really bad experience on the film, Oscar Isaacs. He's come out and said that he didn't know what he was getting himself in for. He didn't know he was going to be under so much prosthetics. And he had to have like coolant pumped round, but was still red hot in the desert. And then he used to have to go and sit on like a cooling chair after every take. And he was like, I didn't talk to anyone. It was like all my dialogue had to be dubbed over because it was inaudible coming out of like this heavily prosthetic face. And yeah, I think he referred to it as excruciating. Jesus. And Bryan Singer probably tried to bum him as well while he was at it.
And I think he's too old for that.
Maybe.
Person a bit younger.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with trying to bum someone, but as long as they
plus Bryan Singer probably
are happy with it.
Bryan Singer probably wasn't on set. He probably stormed off a couple of times.
I fuck.
You'd fuck him.
Yeah, I fuck him. I hate Bryan Singer. I think his films are shit. Like if the X-Men films are the best he's done, I'm like, no, Usual Suspects is good, but
and first episode of House, he directed.
Don't watch House.
House is such a good TV series. We watched the series like 3 times.
Really?
And they go on for like I think 7 or 8.
It's just Hugh Laurie's weird accent. I don't know if I can get past that.
I love it.
So then we're introduced now again to the X-Men, and we've got like a new crop. I forget, were these in Days of Future Past? They weren't, were they?
No.
Not like Eugene Grey and...
No, because then we had that horrible introduction of Jean Grey.
Oh, yeah.
I'll save that for part 2, but...
really?
Not to stay on that.
Well, I think we're at the point of where they're coming in though, aren't we? Where she's like a dick to him. and he's got like a blindfold on.
They have this setup of Scott Summers. I think this is like the second or third time we've had the introduction of Scott Summers' story, because it's in X-Men Origins Wolverine that he's in school and his eyes are going mental.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember if it's in the original trilogy or not. But anyway, he's in school. His eyes go mental. So they take him to Xavier's school, which, no one knows is a mutant school. And so you go in there. And then you're like, oh my God, mutants, I love it. Bullshit. And then, like, I can't remember. I think they bump into each other or something like that. And he's just a dick to Jean. He's like, well, get out of my way or whatever. And then she reveals that she can read minds to him. I was like, someone says, she didn't say anything. And he went, oh no, I can read minds, blah, blah, blah. And then she's like, well, see you later, Scott. And he's like, I didn't tell you my name. It's like, she just literally told you I read minds. And this is how a lot of the dialogue goes in this film. Like, it's very much just like, I'm Jean Grey, I can read minds. It's not, it doesn't let you figure anything out. It's, I'm Scott Summers, I've got laser beams for my eyes. It's everyone saying their feelings as out loud as possible, because they gave themselves a mammoth task of introducing a bunch load of new characters, wanted us to care about them. I forgot that I was meant to care about Havoc.
Havoc? Oh.
Scott Summers' brother.
The one from...
First Class.
And he's back in it, yeah. And when he dies and you're supposed to be sad and you're just not.
Yeah, they didn't spend any time building the fact that they were brothers. There's like one bit where he walks in and is like, he's just being Scott, walks in. So there's no time spent on them being brothers, so there's no time with him being dead. There's no time with Havoc having much of a relationship with anyone, just the fact that there's like, oh, hey, didn't know you were here. So it's just...
Well, it seemed like almost like Bryan Singer had inherited from Matthew Vaughn these characters, and he was like, I don't want to deal with those. Like, I don't want Banshee. I don't want Havoc. I'll keep McAvoy and Fassbender and Lawrence. Well, I don't think he'd have had any choice at that point because they were massive stars. But he was basically like, I'll get rid of everyone else and bring my own little kids in.
Yeah.
Including... Angel, is it Angel? They never actually say it.
Oh yeah, on the bad guy's side.
Yeah,
right? Bring an Angel, and
then Nightcrawler as well.
A German. So yeah, the German Nightcrawler, Angel, who he was in Germany, was he? No, he was in where was it? The desert. Where was it?
But I thought he was in Germany cage fighting at the beginning, wasn't he?
By the way, this is at least the second cage fight in the X-Men franchise.
Yeah, what is it with the cage fighting?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you think that was a callback to the first?
Does America have a lot of cage fighting?
I don't know.
Is it a popular? It seems like a popular thing in bars or something. They'll have two people fighting in a cage.
Any of our American listeners get in touch with us?
We do have some American listeners.
We do,
so
yeah.
If that,
Let's know about cage fighting in bars.
If there are, I'd like to go see some. See if there's any mutants.
You don't get those in Leeds. Well, we'll call it for part one then, and we'll come back and we'll talk about some of the old cast and then where the film goes from there. Bye.
Get back to the pod.
Right, okay, welcome back to part two. So what we'll do is we'll pick up with our old cast first. So McAvoy, where is he when we're introduced to him?
I've absolutely forgotten.
He's just kind of running the school and taking on new people. Not much going on.
Are we introduced to him when Scott Summers comes in?
Yeah, I believe so. He's got a nice little purple jumper going on, but he's not...
Full head of hair.
Yeah.
Looks not a day over whatever age he was 20 years ago.
Yeah, not even a grey. They could have put at least a bit of grey in. He's in the wheelchair though, isn't he?
Yeah.
So they've committed to it for this film. No serums or anything. Unlike Beast.
Yeah, Beast still has his serum. Beast is far too much not the Beast.
Fuck Beast. They've absolutely ruined him in this franchise. He looks like shit. And then he's not a beast.
Kelsey Grammer in Last Stand, perfect.
Perfect casting.
Absolutely,
looks great. Yeah.
Say what you want about Singer. He cast a beast.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't His, was he? That was Brett Ratner's.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Another
So say what you want about Singer. He can't cast a beast. So he's just kind of milling around at the school, being a bit date rapey about Moira. He's like, I like wiped her memories. And I didn't like that. They were really like smug about it. And I don't know, there was something a bit seedy about, and especially now I know a bit more about what Bryan Singer's extracurricular activities were.
I've never checked in on her. Okay, maybe once, maybe twice.
Yeah.
Like, right. That's not what you want to set up for. Like Charles in the original series, I know it is Patrick Stewart, just seemed much more noble than this version.
So building up a relationship with a woman, and when it gets a bit serious, wiping a memory. And then checking in. What does he mean by checking in? Is he just going into her mind? Yeah. Or is he meeting her again, fucking her, and then wiping her brains again? Like, it never really explains it. And
I didn't even think about that.
I'm like, it just seemed all a bit seedy for me.
So I suppose he could have just keep wiping her mind every time. Because when they meet, she has no idea. They make a stupid joke about having level 5 clearance. I honestly forgot he'd wiped her mind. So when there's meeting, I was like, what is this shit again? Why?
I just forgot about her.
Yeah. It just seemed a bit like, why have they had to do the stupid... Is it Superman 1 or 2 where he wipes Lois's mind?
No, I can't remember.
It's been a while. Christopher Reeves one. Yeah, he gives her a kiss and wipes her mind. It's exactly what he does, but he does his head touchy thing while he's kissing her.
Head touchy thing. I'm like, you can get across that someone's using telepathic powers without them always having to do 2 fingers on the forehead, because Jean does it as well. But then Fassbender, Magneto, Eric. Sorry, it always reminds me of Billy Madison. He's married with a kid who can talk to animals. He seems fairly happy, doesn't he?
Yeah, I liked that.
Yeah, I did.
I liked that he'd tried to hide away a bit more.
And then he saves that guy, doesn't he, from a metal smelting pot or something landing on him. Yeah. Basically gets busted, doesn't he?
So all the police come with their bows and arrows. No metal. Oh.
But this is the problem with X-Men, is that they like mess around with the rules all the time of what people can and can't do. And they're like, oh, we didn't bring metal guns. But then it like there's metal in the ground that he can pull. But I know they kind of make out that he can get that power later. But if someone's got too much iron in the blood, I'm like, well, there's a load of them. They've got iron in the blood together. He's probably near somewhere where someone's dropped something metal in the past.
It was a bit ridiculous. And they didn't need to do it because obviously he wasn't going to do anything. So, like, as in, I know the police didn't think that, but it wasn't like, oh, he needed those weapons to take on these people. Like, it was just... They had a suspicion. They could have done that. Even if they'd just done something like, like we've taken all our metal away, and then he just points out something innocuous like your belt buckles. They're so ill-equipped for this. But so it shows that there is metal, but he's actively choosing not to kill them. And then he could still do the killing them with the necklace thing, because that's a significant. It shows attachment. There wasn't need. And then the stupid letting go of the arrow, like the sound effect probably made that worse more than anything. And he manages to hit a
both
child
of them
in the heart and the mum in the heart.
And what's that arrow made out of? Because it's not metal.
And he let it go by accident.
Yeah. It's like the perfect shot.
This is one of those coincidences where it just pushes it too far. A coincidence can happen in order for your story to work. Like bump into each other. Yeah, that's an inciting incident. It needs to happen. This inciting incident really pushed that coincidence. What you're going to accept.
But even if they'd have like shot the little girl and then been like, "What have you done?" and being like, "Blah blah," and then like the leader being like, "Right, well, we can't leave any trace of this now. Like, kill them all," and like. Or something, but getting them both with one arrow, I was like, it's just not good. And that's a shame because I feel bad for all the kind of effort that was put in First Class. Because that's a good, solid film. And the story of Charles and Eric, I was going to say Charles and Eddie. I think I've nearly done that before. Was like built up in a really satisfying way. And then now he's just this, I don't know. It's just not a very well handled bit of storytelling. And it's just a shame that we've got fucking Charles, who's this weird date rapist.
Yeah.
And Eric's in this sea of shit consequences. And
he flips and just the way he very seamlessly goes to genocide.
Yeah. And not only just like genocide and kills those people, but he's ready to basically destroy the world. But he's got another kid, so that's fine.
And I mean, how much more powerful would it alone been the bit where he goes back to the smelting plant and he addresses them all, and we're all nothing. So when Apocalypse comes in and like drops them into the ground, by the way, cool effect, cool way. I think we've had some very cool deaths in it.
Yeah,
I loved it. Like if it was just more tinged towards horror, I think I would have loved it more. But how much it would have been more impactful if he'd like spoke to probably his closest friend at the plant at that time, like why they like he'd said like they killed my wife and my kid, and like watching the horror on that guy's face, and then he kills them.
Yeah,
like just that scene alone would have been. Thinking about back to First Class, where he's in that bar in Austria, where there's those two ex-Nazi soldiers.
Oh yeah,
and they've got the jar. The way that whole scene plays out, it shows a much better handling of his emotions than this film ever did.
And even the bit where he goes in to talk about the gold bullion or whatever, and he rips that guy's fillings out of his head, and like that's quite a cool little one-on-one. But yeah, just poorly handled. So then, well, that's those two. And we've now got Apocalypse and Mystique are both kind of building teams together, aren't they? Because Eric becomes part of Apocalypse's team. He can just do a bit of magic and make your powers a little bit better than what they were originally.
Yeah, so Apocalypse feels that he is a god and that everyone is worshipping a false god because we've got nuclear warheads and we've got TV, and so he decapitates some people with sand, gets Storm and makes her with white hair.
Yeah, your hair is too black. It needs to be silver.
Is it a bit weird that a man comes in and tells a woman that she can be more powerful and gives her more powerful and gives her black woman white hair?
Yeah.
And then comes in and tells another woman she can be more powerful and then puts her in like a weird bondage suit, which I know is comic book accurate, but wasn't really needed for the film.
No.
And not explained.
This is one of my biggest problems with the whole X-Men franchise in the world of cinema, is that it is so poorly designed. And I know a lot of effort and things go into these, but hair and makeup is always terrible. Costume design is even worse. And I know that when the first one came out in 2000, it was hot off like the Matrix and like that kind of leather stuff was all in. But I'm like, well, you've reset it now. You've gone back to First Class. They did wear those like weird blue and yellow suits or whatever. But I'm like, oh, this person's a mutant because they've got a red streak in their hair, or this one's a mutant because they've got piercings and a tattoo. And I'm like, oh, come on. It seems like such a Hollywood exec's idea of what mutants should look like. And I'm just like, you should be better than that at this point.
Yeah, it feels like they go with a mix between we're trying to be nothing like the comics and trying to be exactly like the comics. And then not doing a good job of either.
Yeah, fail on all accounts.
How they can take the actual comic book uniforms and still manage to just fuck them up is ridiculous. I think that's the thing. Some people were like, oh, well, you wanted this. We put it in. You didn't, like, she just turned up in this suit.
Yeah.
She just... Why would she have that?
I don't know. Oh, yeah, and I like Olivia Munn, but her character was, well, I say character. There was no character.
Yeah.
And apparently she like really likes the comics and really liked that character and was like kind of, I think she not like pleaded to be it, but put out a case why she should be this character. So like showed off some of her fighting skills, and it was just so one-dimensional.
Her flip at the end battle where she comes in flipping and cuts that guy
Oh, that's shit wire work.
Horrific.
But they use that in all the trailers. And I remember thinking, like, when the trailers came out, being like, that looks shit. Why is that your focus point for...
It's, fucking... and I think the main problem with this film is, like you say, the characters. So that's why it baffles me that after the school gets blown up, but we know that they know what their purpose is, that they need to go save. So what is it? A quick recap. So Charles, they kidnap Charles because Apocalypse figures out he's got Cerebro.
Because he's the MacGuffin, basically.
Yeah. And they've got everyone, and they blow up the school, and Quicksilver has a really awesome scene in saving everyone.
No, do you know what? That scene annoyed me because I'm like, you've done that in the second one. I'm like, you made that joke, and I don't feel like they did it really differently enough or took it to their next level to make it different. It was just rehashing, and it was a really good joke in the second one. I love that bit in the bank scene or whatever. But in this one, I was like, oh, you're just doing it again with better music, or
I think it's a solid scene the way they filmed it, the way it goes across, but it's useless. It isn't needed, and
it's poorly. It's poorly kind of, what am I trying to say? Like constructed in the story as well, that he just so happens to be there when that bomb goes off.
Massive coincidence.
Yeah. And again, with the powers, I'm like, what are his powers? He's fast, but when he first comes in, he's walking and he just kind of like slowly walks in. I'm like, he's not running at this point. So can he slow down time? Because I thought it was that when he starts running, he's running faster than our perception of time. But it seems like he slows time down and can just do a casual stroll. He's not running there. And then I'm like, so are you super strong as well? Because he's just throwing people out of a building.
All the scene does is add less character. It adds more runtime. And adds more questions. It doesn't tell you anything about a character. It doesn't have anything set up later. It's absolutely a answer to a problem that they created themselves. Which is the problem is we're going to blow up the school. What do we do with all the people in it? Oh, we get Quicksilver to take them out.
And they fix the school later.
Yeah.
So the blowing up of the school doesn't matter. It's literally just in there to have that gag.
This is the first of two bits that don't need to be in this film, and the next bit follows directly afterwards, and that's the breakout scene from the...
Oh, yeah, the Weapon X. That is... Yeah, it's such a poor scene. Wolverine's like whole get-up looks shit. He looks stupid. He doesn't... I know this is weird because he's absolutely ripped, but he doesn't even look like ready. Because when he is Wolverine, he puts in months of effort and gets into the character. This he didn't look like he had. There's a bit where he ran out at the end that just looked stupid. And I was like, cut this scene. It's embarrassing.
Dude, I don't know if you remember. I laughed in the cinema on that bit.
No, I can't.
He absolutely scampered off like an animal. Like,
but it was like something out of The Simpsons. That whole bit didn't need to be. I forgot about
that whole
it.
Bit was fan service. His costume is from the comics, like that head thing, all from the comics.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I love seeing Wolverine going berserker mode.
And all the blood splashes and some of the kills were good.
In a different context would have been great.
Logan.
Yeah. That in this context was unnecessary. And again, what did it give us?
Nothing. It just introduced him back into there. And maybe it was they were doing some kind of setup for a sequel where the whole weird... That would have been a weird love triangle, though, with Sophie Turner and the dude from...
Well, it is weird when he hooked up with Tyler, because he's so old. But he's like hundreds of years old. And
yeah, but if he's fit.
It's just like the whole Twilight problem.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, where he's like, I'm 17 forever, and you're like, well, you're not.
Yeah,
you're literally not. Your face might look it, but you are old as shit. But we've not even talked about Mystique because I feel like they don't know what they're doing with Mystique. They've set her up as this weird hero. That story really doesn't go anywhere.
No.
But she's not a hero, but she's Jennifer Lawrence. So they're not going to have her be just Magneto's lackey.
And they took her out of her costume for as long as possible as well. Again, that would have been a really good storyline that she's this hero that inspires people. And especially after the events of Days of Future Past, it kind of makes sense that people, mutants, would be looking up to her. But yeah, they didn't spend any time on it. And that's because they padded out the time with all this extra bullshit. They didn't spend any time on things that matter so they could get in these set pieces of fan service. The Quicksilver scene was as much fan service as the X-Men scene.
And even his story with him being Magneto's son, I felt like that felt a little bit fan service.
Yeah.
Even in the film before where they kind of dropped a hint of it, I was like, oh, is this some kind of, even as someone who's never read an X-Men comic, I was like, is that a story from a comic? And then I subsequently found out that it is.
Why didn't they have it? Why didn't they find a way to have them to spend some time together before Magneto was trying to destroy the Earth? And where you get the parallel of he knows who he is and he doesn't. And you're getting this nice dialogue between the two where he's kind of naturally finding out what his dad's like without all the baggage of like, oh, I have to speak to you like a son. It would have been a case. These are like basics of writing a story and characters. It's understanding what you've got and getting the best out of those situations where someone, like Hitchcock says, like if something's like a bomb is ticking under a bench and you've got two people having a conversation on a bench, that is a very tense scene. And it's just, that's how you extrude good scenes from characters. One of them knows something that someone doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. So use it and they don't. And it's just, I don't know. And there's a bit where he's talking to Mystique and he's like, why have you come in? She says something. And then he looks at him and he's like, and you? And I was like, why would he even ask him?
Yeah.
Like, he's like above him. Like, he didn't care.
Yeah.
If he'd have been like, I really want to see, he'd have been like, shut the fuck up. I was kidding or whatever. I would have loved it if he'd have been like, had a conversation, been like, how old are you, boy? And he was like 23. And he was like, oh, I hooked up with some real skanky woman in 24 years ago. I had a massive beeve.
Yeah, exactly. He's just like, I've made some mistakes.
Yeah.
just a little conversation about something. I don't know. We didn't get enough about Quicksilver's mum to know what her thoughts on. But like, he was saying something really nice about, like he went through this disgusting story, like, oh, I had sex with this really like horrible woman, like you say, and he's going into details like, I don't want to hear this, and then he goes, but then after her, I met someone really nice, and I just wish I'd stayed in contact. It would have been a good,
that's a good joke,
element. Like he thinks he's hearing about how dirty his mum is, and then he actually,
that's a good like way of doing it. Some good comedy. But like, she have some kind of, he was like, I'm not afraid of him, and she was like, you should be, and I was like, oh, she's actually just said you should be.
Yeah.
I think at this point we need to just get to the end.
Yeah, the film needed to get to the end.
Yes.
And it did.
So it did, and there was a bit of body swapping going on. Xavier, whatever, lost his hair.
Yeah, there's a mind fight which visually looked very cool.
Yeah, it did in the
Good
house.
way to do that, like with and the bit where Apocalypse becomes massive. Oh, that was perfect.
Yeah, that looked good. Yeah.
It feels like the overall message they were trying to get through was there that you know working together is better than on your own. But he kind of wasn't on his own because he did build a team and just left him. And then, I don't know, it's all a bit muddled, wasn't it? There's a bit of a fight. Quicksilver got his leg broken, so he was useless. Loads of people were put out of action very easily because they... The message was meant to be like Charles is on his own, so that's how he's able to defeat them. But they relied on one person to beat him.
Yeah,
so
they were just like Phoenix.
Everyone working together failed, and one person beat him.
Yeah, I never even thought about that.
It's what is this fucking film trying to say?
I don't know. And then it kind of ends, doesn't it? I can't even remember. Yeah, she just kind of melts him away, doesn't she? And then there's a weird post-credits bit where they're clearly trying to set up another film, which I'm guessing they're not going to come back to. Did you watch the post-credits bit? Where someone was collecting up vials of like blood, and they had, I'm guessing it was blood or DNA, and they had Weapon X's.
Oh, yeah.
And it was going off to Sussex or Essex Corp or something.
Yeah.
Which is it Mr. Sinister or something like that?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
no one cares.
I'm just going to go through, like, I don't think we need to really make a big deal out of it, but yeah, this is Spoilt Milk. It's just a bad film. And I'm so not psyched about the next one now.
Yeah, same. I think this killed. Like, it's definitely felt like it killed doing midnight screenings. Those for you.
But it did, and I've not been back to one. And I thought it was because I was like, by the time I'm getting to the third one, I'm in such fatigue that I'm thinking it's not very good. But actually watching this now, I'm like, no, it just wasn't good.
Yeah.
And actually, if anything, putting the first and second film, and I personally think they're the best two over like X-Men, X2 and The Last Stand.
Yeah.
Putting those two in front of this one just highlighted, and even when they made the joke about the third Return of the Jedi and being like the third one's always the worst, I'm like, you've not earned that.
Yeah.
And like, if anything, you've pointed out that that it's right.
You pointed out that you just don't give a shit about this film.
Yeah. Last question, would you say that this is better or worse than The Last Stand?
This is worse.
I would say it's worse as well.
Probably one of the worst films I've seen in a long time.
Nice.
I'd like to try and find all the times I've said this is probably one of the worst films and then rate all of those.
Yeah.
Because when this was bad. This was bad.
Yeah, it was.
But it did have some good elements individually on its own. That I think if we just better contextualized, then it would have been an amazing film.
But you've just rattled off the top of your head, and I don't know if you've had these conversations before, a couple of little tweaks that would have made bits so much better. So why aren't they doing that? But anyway, we've gone on about this for quite some time now. So that's X-Men Apocalypse. It is Spoilt Milk.
Yeah, thank God.
Thank God. Bye.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Spoilt Milk Movie Podcast, you pieces of fucking shit.